Radio Retro Future has been made possible by the Groene V Absinthe, some of the best artisanal absinthe from the Netherlands. You can find their selections of homemade absinthe, both white and green, on degroenev.nl/en, or click the link down in the description.
Don't you be sad, don't despair, cause this will make you feel glad. Here's a little song to cure your dismay. It's so happy that I sing it each day. While I'm walking down the hills with my cane, take a stroll right on downtown, down on Main. Have a cup of java, then you'll head around the bend, see the Mississippi River, and you're happy again. But by riverboat, balloon, or by train, we can guarantee we'll ease your pain. Toss your cares into the river, they float on down the way. Oh honey, folks are friendly there, you'll come back every year. You know you wanna go, that's the place so dear. Join with us and sing the big river rag. they'll come back every year. You know you wanna go, that's the place so dear. Join with us and sing the Big River Rag.
Welcome back! Those were the Steampunk Stompers with the Big River Rag. And with that being said, let's quickly move on to the next subject, ladies and gentlemen. Last time I ended my story when they removed that bloody robot from my cell. By that time, the NCR officials realized I was no spy, but a victim of circumstance. However, they needed somebody to take the fall for that shootout at the Atomic Wrangler. So instead they made me work in a chain gang like some common criminal. That's how I met a man called Pierre Gerloff Dunya. But everybody called him Greta Pierre. Said he was falsely accused for smuggling. Just another victim of the Crimson Caravans Trading Company's attempt to put their competition out of business. So he claimed. He belonged to an outfit known as the Black Hope. They specialized in transporting what they call special cargo, for a steep fee, of course. He had all kinds of stories of their exploits in places like New Reno and even Washington. A matter of fact, that was where his gang was about to go before the NCR arrested him in Freeside while being slum drunk after a night on the strip. Not sure what to think of him. He was built as a house and strong as a Brahmin. And something about how he did things seemed disingenuous. Yet his stories intrigued me, so I stayed by his side. I'll leave it at that for now. Here's some music.
We take our pay. We are the swords for hire. We have a fast airship. If you've got a job for us, we don't care much what it is. We'll bang the drums or be discreet. You've got the gold for us. We'll bring the steam. I will return again. No way to hold me in. Time Lord, airship captain. Call me magnificent. We dance the dance. In the skies in the dead of night, we sail away. Top hat, brass goggles, and guns. This is our way. We are the swords for hire. We have a fast airship. If you've got a job for us, we don't care much what it is. I will return again. No way to hold me in. Dark Lord, airship captain. Call me magnificent.
wonder. Magnificent machines travel here and yonder. He is a brilliant traveler with astonishing tales. His airship rules the ether with wind in her sails. From the sky he has seen many a land. His journeys have been so lovely and grand. A voyage to the east where he conquered a foe, or exploring the north through the driven snow. Let me tell you a story of adventure and glory. Let me tell you a story, though you may not believe. Let me tell you a story, and I shall not deceive. In the west he found a lady so fair. His pleasure and love he had to declare. Her destiny and his were intended to unite, until a devilish fiend stole her from his sight.
I commissioned a squad of the most talented men, and we infiltrated her captor's dastardly den. His weapons no match, the victory was mine. Rushed into my arms, my beloved was divine.
Let me tell you a story of adventure and glory. Let me tell you a story, though you may not believe. Let me tell you a story, and I shall not deceive. The gears of his ship hum like a song. In the age of machines we will travel along. The tales we can spin and yarns we can tell. A welcome invitation with no need for farewell. Let me tell you a story of adventure and glory. Let me tell you a story, though you may not believe. Let me tell you a story, and I shall not deceive. Let me tell you a story of adventure and glory. Let me tell you a story, though you may not believe. Let me tell you a story, and I shall not deceive.
Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Night Watch Paradox with Let Me Tell You a Story. Speaking of stories, we left off when I just got pushed into a chain gang by the NCR when I was still in New Vegas. It was here, working the quarries in the Mojave Desert, where I got to meet Pierre Gerloff Donia, but everyone called him Grotte Pierre. A 9-feet giant with tall tales the size of the Californian Republic. But his stories gave me hope. Did I ever tell you about my first bottle of absinthe? It had a label on it with a butterfly. And it said, handcrafted and prepared with local wormwood from Boston. Better yet, the label included the address of the distillery located somewhere in the Boston waterfront. You see, it was when I told Grotter about it he offered to help me get there. How? I asked as I rattled the chains around my ankle. Then he said that his buddies with the Black Hope had a plan for these kind of things. He didn't tell me what he meant with that. But at one point it all became clear to me. One day we were out in the Mojave Desert, clearing rubble from a valley. Then, all of a sudden, Pierre took an officer hostage with a fake gun he carved out of wood. Hindsight is funny. The giant pressing a soldier against his chest while holding a toy gun smaller than his fist against his hostage head. Of course, he was surrounded by the other wardens in no time. I'm not gonna lie. It looked bad for him. I didn't know what to do, so I just stood there with a pickaxe in my hand, wondering if he wanted me to attack the guards, but I couldn't take out more than one with my pickaxe, so I hesitated. And all of a sudden, he gave me a mischievous wink. So there I was. And to make matters worse, one of the wardens noticed Pierre signaled to me. So he came up to me, ready to put a bullet in my brain, when all of a sudden, the warden just froze. His eyes had this weird glare of lifelessness, and slowly just sank to his knees and fell lifeless to the ground. Before I realized what was happening, more shots sounded and the warden just dropped where they stood. And this fight was over before that even began, I'll tell you. It was at that time that Pierre gave the all clear. A number of heavily armed men emerged from their hiding places, armed to the teeth with rifles and all kinds of equipment you'd expect Talon Company merch to wear, but these were not them. They were the band of the Black Hope, Pierre's outfit. Donia released me and the other prisoners. He asked me if I would tag along with his band on their road to Washington, which was well on the way to Boston. And with the memory of my absinthe bottle and the butterfly, what other choice did I have? So when we made our getaway, we quickly put our first steps on the road to Boston.
In 1899, a crack marquee and reprisal unit was indicted by the New Albion Imperial government for breach of contract. It was alluded to that this crew was in collusion with the outlaw gang known as the Wild Bunch, which was headed by the infamous bank robber Butch Cassidy. Having no affiliation with this character, the crew turned themselves into the Texas court of Magistrate C.D. McGuire. When imperial jurisdiction was asserted by a superior court, assuring a jaundiced trial, prosecuted by a seedy and corporate conglomerate known as the Pinkerton Security Agency, McGuire immediately sprung the crew from the stockade, and they all escaped to the Nevada underground to avoid capture. Today, still wanted by the government and chased by Pinkerton marshals, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the crew of the Agent Major Group.
Future has been made possible by the Groene Vee absinthe. Some of the best artisanal absinthe from the Netherlands. You can find their selections of homemade absinthe, both white and green, on degroenevee.nl/en, or click the link down in the description.
Ich wandre durch das alte Land, allein im Regen, auf schattigen Wegen, sind manch Geheimnis unerkannt. Meine Wege ist leer, ich fliehe in ein fremdes Land, über Längen gerade und Brücken aus Jade, in meinen Ahnen unbekannt. Ihre Häuser stehen leer. Such nicht nach uns, frag nicht, wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns untergehen? Träumt die Zeit mit uns in Ewigkeit. 1000 Jahre lang verschwand das Glück, jetzt kehrt es zurück. In diesem Augenblick, in diesem Augenblick, in diesem Augenblick. Wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk. Willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk. Willst du mit uns untergehen? Sing mir nicht vom Heimatland, unser Zauberreich ist überall gleich. Unter der Erde sind wir verwandt, unsere Gräber sind leer. Such nicht nach uns, frag nicht, wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns? Such nicht nach uns, frag nicht, wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk. Mir nicht vom Heimatland, unser Zauberreich ist überall gleich. Unter der Erde sind wir verwandt, unsere Gräber sind leer. Such nicht nach uns, frag nicht, wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns? Such nicht nach uns, frag nicht, wir sind lieber ungesehen. Wir sind das Volk, willst du mit uns gehen? Wir sind keine Untertanen, unsere Taten ungeschehen. Wir sind das Volk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Drachenfluch with Wir sind das Volk. Another little treasure dug up from underneath the Northern Star. Speaking of people, I met a lot of weird folk among the way to Boston, all going to different places for different reasons. Sometimes you think you're looking for one thing only to discover another. Here I have for you just one of those stories that I picked up on the road to Boston. This is the Clockwork Dolls with the ballad of Blackjack Jezebel.
They called her Blackjack Jezebel, the mistress of the game, and every border town could tell the story of her fame. A long black coat with 2 quick guns and endless luck of cards, until one game destroyed her on the blow. It hit her hard. She lost a cool that fateful night and bet all on her bust. She put her faith in an oversight, a man she could not trust. He took her heart and took her crown, her reputation lost. She vowed that night to hunt him down, no matter what the cost. She booked her passage on a ship to search throughout the skies. Her anger spurred her on that trip to kill him for his lies. The tender fair saw every town from Maine to Frisco Bay, but still she could not hunt him down. Elusive was her prey. Until the night in Saskatoon, she found him in a bar. When he saw her brown eyes flare, he knew he'd not get far. She brought him down with a single shot. She brought him to the floor. He knew right then that he'd been caught. She'd settled up the score. Well, my girl, you wheezed at last. I've led this merry chase, but I didn't think we'd end so fast and in this frozen place. Miss Jezebel, I loved you then. I swear I love you still. Just take me in your arms again. I swear I always will. She held her tongue and watched him die. He bled out on the floor. The man she chased across every sky was suddenly no more. I cursed the day I saw your face or ever heard your name. I cursed the land, the sky, this place as a witness to my shame. That was the last they ever heard of Blackjack Jezebel. They couldn't care where she'd gone to heaven or to hell. But windy nights, the chilly air, bring voices on the breeze. Gambling men bust everywhere, might fall down to their knees and pray a devil does not come to play with them at cards. For Blackjack Jesse's brand of fun will put them all on guard. If she wins, or so they say, she'll only take your purse. But if you beat that dog-eyed girl, your life's forever cursed.
Are you trying to find a way to build up your steampunk lifestyle? Or are you just looking for an original gift? Check out Steam Chest and get a subscription box mailed to your door every month. It's a surprise box that contains up to 6 items, ranging from music, ebooks, to t-shirts with original art. For more information, check out our subscription plans on chestofsteam.com.
I can travel all of space and time. Grab a sword, climb aboard, and I'll give you a ride.
welcome back to Radio Retro Future! For those that have been smearing my posters over their walls, available at the better vendors, might have realized I have a bionic eye. A genuine Robco, a matter of fact. Cybernetic optic augmentation. Or SOA, as I like to call it. Wanna hear how I got it? Oh, I'm gonna tell you anyways. So I got on board with Grotepierre and his group, the Black Hope, who promised me they would take me to Washington. Turned out, though, they were not from New Vegas, but more to the west, down the I-95. A place called Hopeville. But now they just call it the Divide. It used to be a thriving area, till something like a decade ago, until BOOM! Place went up in a mushroom cloud. Nobody really knows what happened, but rumor has it was placed on several missile silos. It is said those silos caused quite a stir before the war. The unrest attracted all kinds of soldiers to the location with heavy-duty equipment. That equipment was the stuff the Black Hope had been using. They used to do jobs around the vicinity of Ashton and Hopeville before trying to find a way to Washington and map the Terra Incognito, known as the Midwest. After years of searching, they finally returned from their quest, only to find Hopeville and its surrounding towns were nuked, and the place had been overrun by mutated soldiers and legionnaires that are now living within those endless sandstorms. And this is what left the Black Hope without a cause and only people to blame. But I wasn't aware of any of this. As far as I was concerned, we were merely on our way to Washington. I guess I should have asked more questions about that. But we shouldn't dwell too much on past mistakes. This is The Cog is Dead, with Blood, Sweat and Tears.
Some time ago in the city run solely on steam. The power plant workers would rise and stick to routine, breaking their backs till their work shirts were dirty and brown. As year after year they'd work for the good of the town. As parts would get old, these men would make the repairs, changing out axles and belts with meticulous care, working their hands to the bone and slaving away. They press on with diligence, and as they strained, you could hear them say, with our blood, sweat, and tears, and the grinding of gears, we shall slave to keep our beautiful city alive. Yes, with blood, sweat, and tears, and the passing of years, we'll expend ourselves so our fair people may thrive. One afternoon, Frederick Worthington clocked into work. He went to his station not knowing the danger that lurked. He pulled on the lever to start up the massive machine, but deep in the workings was something he had not foreseen. The pistons were pumping as pressure began to accrue, and suddenly one of the tanks had to give and it blew. Frederick was knocked back into an assortment of gears, and there in an instant he came to an end with his greatest fear. And with blood, sweat, and tears, and the grinding of gears, this disaster happened in front of our terrified eyes. Yes, with blood, sweat, and tears, in these premature years, Frederick met his unfortunate, wholly untimely demise. With our blood, sweat, and tears, we'll return to our gears. The city still needs us to work, so we must carry on. With our blood, sweat, and tears, and the grinding of gears, we shall slave to keep our beautiful city alive. Yes, with blood, sweat, and tears, and the passing of years, we'll expend ourselves so our fair people may thrive. Blood, sweat, and tears.
In the seven seas I taste your tears. And in your eyes I see your fear. From the highest peak I feel your breath. And in your eyes I see your death. You live your life as you see fit. You took it by the throat and scared of it. You do the things you want to do. Never feeling down or feeling blue, 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 blue. But I'll take you down to a lower level. You're never sure if I'm an angel or a devil. I'll take you down to a darker place. Is my heart full of anger or full of grace? You live your life as you see fit. You took it by the throat, not scared of it. You do the things you want to do. Never feeling down or feeling blue, 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 blue,
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Radio Retro Future. Here in my hand, I have a holotape recovered from the wreckage of the ship known as the Northern Star. It is said to have been inhabited by a particular group of ghouls that apparently spoke in some weird alien language. It's believed that these are aliens, how they got here, and why they were on a... Oh, come on, nobody believes this crap. Here's a song by a band from a place called Germany, called Held der Arbeit. And their song is called Der Heiser.
Tief im Dunklen unserer Nacht führst du deinen stillen Kampf. Du weißt, was dich erwartet, ein Gestank aus Öl und Dampf. Eines Tages wirst du wissen, dass der Dämon nicht nur lacht. Was du mit ihr leiden fühlst, ja, das hat sie geschafft. Und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, wird die Zeit für dich stillstehen. Und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu atmen, wirst du ihren Flug verstehen. Wie ganz schlafend ruht sie da in ihrer vollen, düsteren Pracht. Sie atmet Ruß und Feuer ihrer schwer gezähmten Macht. Du hast nie erwartet, dass sie Glanz und Wärme bringt. Riech stetig ihren Atem, der nach Brand und Eisen stinkt. Und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, wird die Zeit für dich stillstehen. Und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu atmen, wirst du ihren Flug verstehen. Und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, wird die Zeit für dich stillstehen. Und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu atmen, wirst du ihren Flug verstehen. Und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu atmen, und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, wird die Zeit für dich stillstehen. Und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu wirst du ihren Flug verstehen. Und wenn ihr Feuer brennt, wird die Zeit für dich stillstehen. Und wenn ihr Leib beginnt zu wirst du ihren Flug verstehen.
Welcome back to Radio Retro Future. You know, you can meet a lot of strange folk out there in the wasteland. Especially among the I-15. I met the primitives of Zion National Park, and I saw the ruins of New Canaan as we passed Salt Lake City. I even got to enjoy some of their famous grilled mantis legs. So now you know that's a thing. It's what you might call a acquired taste. Kinda like Agatha's crumpets. Past that point we finally reached the Midwest. A particularly strange place. The region is inhabited by tribals and cultists, some of which are even weirder than the children of Adam, if you can believe it. More frustrating is that it has a very strong Brotherhood of Steel presence. We stayed clear from them whenever possible, because they rule that area like it's their own bloody kingdom. Funny enough, they don't think that highly of their eastern and western coast counterparts either, and have grandiose tales of how they conquered a place called the Vault, or Vault Zero, as it was actually named, according to their legends anyway. According to which it housed an entire robot army that set out to conquer the whole continent. I think I read that plot on the back of an old Holovid box somewhere. But it turns out they have plenty of old interesting relics over there. As it turns out that some of these tribals have been hoarding more than just a few pieces of old world technology. A particular group called the Reavers treat such objects as divine relics. Doesn't stop them from tinkering with it though. But more about them some other time. This is City on Steam with The Unknown. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. This was the 4th installment of Radio Retro Future for Fallout. I hope you enjoyed the music and, of course, the adventures of Balthazar Gerhardt and ASP. A big thank you to all my patrons and sponsors. This week's new sponsor is Steam Chest. You can find a link to their subscription service down below in the description. And if you have the time, please consider paying a visit to our Patreon. But of course, as always, I'm just glad that you have taken the time to listen. And I hope to see you next week with a new episode of Radio Retro Future for Fallout.